So last week, 2024, no demos, Victoria, Harvest. About speakers, suggesting IDs for topics. We talked about 2.0 blocking issues. Today 6.11.4. Do we have demos?
I could demo something.
Is it Dave or David?
Either one's fine. You can call me Dave, though.
Okay, I'll go with Dave because you write Dave. Dave as a demo.
Do we actually have two Daves, or?
Well, we have Dave Black and Dave Owinga.
Oh, okay. That's not a glitch.
One is coming every single meeting, and one is coming just since last week.
Yes, I was just confused. Who is which?
So topics. I see we have one topic for sure, which is Victoria's topic. What else? So we check. And as usual, we start with Victoria because it's late in Hungary.
Thank you. So I just want to tell all the members of the Orchard community that there is a chance to meet the other community members in this September in Las Vegas, and you shouldn't miss this opportunity. So please check out the website where you can find all the important information about the Orchard Harvest Conference. And also, if you are interested, you can still apply as a speaker, and all the chosen speakers will receive free tickets for the conference. So we hope that most of you can join to this conference, and we will have a great time there.
I already submitted 2 talks. If both of those will be accepted, then can I bring my friend for free as well?
I have to discuss this question with the other organizers first.
That was,
you get the price of the ticket. Don't need to invite a friend. Just get the money.
Oh yeah, even better.
But also your friend can give another speech as well.
Oh.
Yeah, Zoltan always brings Benedict to work.
Yeah. No, I was joking, of course.
Okay. Thank you, Victoria. And the status should one. Benedict hasn't done much in the past weeks. Nothing there. Fourth year, noon. What do we have? This one. Sarah constrain the path created default area controller wrapper with an AdminAreaControllerRouteMapper. I think we see that during triage.
Yeah, well, this title is technical and specific, but it doesn't tell that this fixes the admin routes. So if you had an admin attribute that also defined the route pattern, like you can do with attribute routing, then that was broken, got broken since 1.8. This fixes that.
Site settings for custom settings and to get settings by name. It's a helper. Get site settings by type, which we convert it to a name. Oh no, get a property, so custom property, and specify the type. This is the same. And this one to say, okay, so if you have a property with a specific name, you can, for instance, say, this is a content item, so give me a content item. Still looking for an example usage here, but I don't see any. But not in this case, we don't have any example.
I don't think we have any instance of using this in Orchard core.
Okay. Fix this indication option assignment from T. Orange fix JsonDynamicArray enumeration, dynamic usage. Dynamic JsonDynamicArray enumeration. So now JsonDynamicArray is enumerable, so yeah, someone filing should implement to for each anymore on the dynamic property. So now George implemented enumerable. We are seeing a lot of PRs from George to fix the dynamicity of the system text JSON migration, because apparently this was something we had for free with User.json, and we don't realize we had it for free until we remove this User.json, and everything broke. So enumerable implementation fixes the content items and menu when types are not creatable. Probably to prevent some types from being listed when you can't create them, so the button doesn't appear.
Yeah, that was it. The issue is that we have a listable metadata as well, so that should be used.
Okay. This table which was introduced not long ago. Remove duplicate condition in LinkFieldIndexProvider. Okay. The reference exception. Kind of weird. Do you know when we have that SharedViewCompilerProvider, which is null? No, it's first or default, which is null, but still no view compiler provider. Nah. That's weird. Or maybe there is a warning that says this could be null. Don't call it in this case, because in this case it will return null. So just maybe prevent a warning, because technically I don't think we can have no value there. Missing version assignment in StyleBlock. Okay. Is that a new recent property maybe that we added? Maybe someone from Lombiq, I don't remember where did that.
I'm not sure.
I think it's a new property, but maybe it was missing in this place here for the liquid whatever block.
Mike did something. Mike extended this the culture configuration last week. if probably that's what you are referring to.
I don't recall, but I believe there was a new property added somewhere. Seal all startup. Configuration. Okay, seal migrations. Okay, fix content types and content paths such UI. Okay, there's a new one. What is that? Resource management option configuration.
This was necessary to make that script reusable. Well, it was necessary to make reusing it nicer, because previously there were two separate scripts for the content type and the content part filter. Now it's one.
Okay, transient configuration to update the resource management options. Okay. The script. Files in the assets folder. We'll update the phone number version. Add target attribute to menu. Link admin node now has a new property target defined where the link will be generated. I wonder why we didn't add it in the first place, why we decided not to add it. Because if it was not there, it's probably because we said it should not be there. But new people, new decisions. It makes sense. Okay, new target attribute and property in the admin nodes. Is it just the admin nodes? No, menu. Is it on the front end also, or just the back end for admin? Maybe that's why we didn't have that before. If it's just the admin, I see option menu, so maybe also for the front end ones, but this one is different, right? Or is it raising the same thing? Raising the same thing, raising the same object model, but the menu here. Yes, it's the front end also.
Hisham, you were one of the people reviewing it. Probably you can comment.
I think Mike was engaged in this PR, if I recall.
Menus and menu. Okay. And what is the default? The default still have a value. It still has a value. Like there is no target. You have to have something opens the document in the same frame, which is default. And yeah, so I assume it's the same value as when you don't have a target property then. Cool. Integrate update, fix missing activity display driver. Missing activity display driver. It's the old one. There's no issue with that. Missing activity. So we have something called missing activity. Or is it the missing activity? Something. Activity display driver. This one is generic. Okay, so we don't know what it fixed, but apparently it fixed something. This is the same thing, it's just the geomodel is different. This is a specific geomodel for missing activity, and this is the generic one for missing activity. So this has no change at all. This is all the changes here. Select create instance, concat display driver. no idea what it's doing, but probably they work together, that's why they know. Yeah, maybe, I believe. Maybe their colleagues didn't know there is a bug, they fixed it. We trust them. Remove unnecessary, Convert.ToBoolean in RuleBenchmark. Okay, I don't know why it's unnecessary, but that will work. Maybe because this one was returning a bool and the conversion was like more fair to compare a bool also, but this won't impact at all. Big birth. If not that, evaluate, we're writing an object specific that you can do as Boolean to say this JavaScript object is a Boolean, give me the Boolean in C#. And that will do the same thing because this result will implement iConvertible. And then, yeah, doesn't matter much. Remove duplicate unit tests, okay. Remove necessary RequireSettings.Condition checked. Interesting, I like that. RequireSettings.Condition checked in ResourceRequiredContext. I remember that code.
So there's an if a couple of lines above that specs that checks for it being is null or empty and returns.
Yeah.
So this wasn't really needed.
So before settings the condition, and it's there also. Okay, settings the condition if return. So this can't be null or empty. Well, yeah, it is true. Okay, I get it this way. And then the thing that was inside is moved out. Okay. Is that a tool that found that thing? A code analyzer or something like that? That could be a tool.
I think yes, there are analyzers that shows when you have when you can simplify ifs like this.
The automation management improvements. Okay. Data description of what to do in the issue forms. Community metrics. So it's a new, what does it do? Do you think? Or is it an updated thing?
It just closes the previous such community metrics issue.
Oh, I see. The community metrics issues are closed. Okay.
Yeah.
Make sure the migration are assigned to a single feature only. We reviewed that last week. A migration could be assigned to two features, the main feature, the main module feature, and a specific feature. Then the migrations could run twice. So this is a flag that is an attribute that is applied to all migration to say the thing that discovers the migrations that they should be assigned only to the specific feature, not the main one. It's a public type so that if people have the same issue, then they can use the same attribute to deduplicate the registrations to two different features. So it's fixing a bug. It was introduced with a recent change. It's a technical implementation detail. People should not be aware of that. Just George, as long as he knows, you're fine. Fixing workflow conditions. Okay. I switch PR2. It's called the issues because in Gitter, the PR is an issue. So for instance, if you list all the issues with the GitHub APIs, you get the PRs because the PR is an issue. It's just that it has some code attached to it. But it's an issue.
Yeah, that's quite a quirk.
Yeah. Everything is an issue. Building GraphQL schema. GraphQL schema. All the name countries with the part things. Transition GraphQL, add options to the cores, set cores, expose headers. This one was easy to merge. So there is a new so there is a picture with expose headers that is now configurable with a new property called expose headers in this setting. And then there is the UI to update these values. And we should provide these values and it will be used in the middleware. So easy one merge. New constructor. Discord link. I thought we had it, maybe not everywhere.
Not there yet, yeah.
I use that make extensions with the classes that you can see some clips. Okay, more static, more same. Serializing GetValue of dictionary extensions. Oh yeah, that's the one to make last week or 2 weeks ago that we don't have to serialize and deserialize to clone an object or to convert it if we know it's the correct type. And then I think we saw that this was not the issue. The issue was earlier in the stack. And Mike found it probably. Yeah, the way that, yeah, that was part of the change. And then this is why we had to deserialize, and now it's probably fixed in a better way. So we just might this one central package management from the .NET team. I don't know why, probably because they use it for benchmarking. So they saw that we are not using central package management, but our custom solution, because when we did that, there was no such thing as central package management. So now it's using central package management, which means there is a new file, directory.packages.props, that replaces these two files, dependencies.props and ASP.core.props. So we had our custom tag. Now there is this well-documented tag package version. So when we need to add a reference, we just add a reference here with the version we want to use. And in the CS approach files, there is no example here, but you just do a package reference without setting the version, like today, and it will pick up the version from this file. Okay. And so at first they were just moving the dependencies of props, but then I also moved the ASP.NET Core props file in the same thing, so we have a single location. It's not much more complex. We have all these dependencies and then the ASP.NET one. Single file. And the rest is the refactoring and removing the code was handling that. This one. Thank you, Thomas. Solution file, yeah, I broke the solution file, but copy paste. I fixed it. Remove Gitter references. Now it's discovered me. Serialization compatibility of TimeSpan and DateTime. I didn't review it. I will trust Tony. So this was fine. The issue being that
you are not on Discord yet.
I don't agree, because during a meeting, a Tuesday meeting, I went to the room and I even commented on that. So what's the issue? You saw me, right? I sent a message. There was like a hello waiver emoji, and then you sent the same thing during one of
you definitely joined. You're in there.
Oh, okay. But there are multiple Sebastians, I'm sure. What's your name on Discord?
Sebastian, what? I don't know. No? Driver. I don't know. I will try again. So how do I do that? I should go on the link. Wait, don't tell me anything. There is a documentation.
Yes.
So if it doesn't work, documentation, you don't have everything. Do I have to accept again? Or maybe, I don't know, because I was there, like, or maybe that must be a challenge and you have to accept. So
send something in general now.
You remember? I did one of these there. Where am I?
Yeah.
Yesterday.
Just there are two Sebastians here, so I didn't know it was you.
Do I have two accounts?
I don't know what the other one is, but I don't. It's just with a capital S.
I should check that. Maybe I have two accounts and I don't know. Account B, yeah. That's why. I don't know why. I don't know how authenticated me. I'll find out. So this one, serializing TimeSpan DateTime. So now there is a explicit conversion when DateTime and or a TimeSpan property are bound to a JSON document. Because apparently users of JSON was serializing in a format, at least the timespans that system takes even doesn't understand. The date times, they should be fine with this format. Now there is this conduct, but with some sounds. It's okay. So custom formatters. Oh, I had asked to do the non-UTC date time just to be sure it's serializing as UTC. There is this one. So this one, this is okay with a specific time zone. Yeah, it doesn't work. Well, you can say this is working fine, but the question I had on the PR was, if we have a date time object that has its date time object is either local or UTC, I believe. So it doesn't have the -5. It's just that this one was deserialized, but never find UTC. Okay, no, apparently no, that's fine. So probably worked. Right, it was not in UTC in the JSON. But it was in etc. On the serialize. I'm not sure because here we have to convert. We should not have to convert. We should check that the deserialized value is UTC and is this value. That's the idea. So we don't have to convert it when we read it. If it's a date time, when I check the PR. Good, done. Done, and we have a demo 1 day.
All right.
That's what I wrote there.
Yep. 1 second. Okay. So what I'm going to demo today is an issue we ran into like a year ago that we created something for. It's with yes SQL indexes or index tables are great, but you have to build them in code, and your content types have to be built in code. And we do a lot of content types that are built in the admin only and never touch code. So how do we build index tables for those content types so we can query on them? So we created this thing called dynamic index tables, and you can create a new one. I'm just going to show from the demo just to hurry things up. But you select the content type you want to index, so you can select all that you want to do, and then you add the table columns you want to index. So you can just add as many as you want. You get different data types like date, time, integer, float. And then you use a mapping script, which uses JavaScript using the script evaluator or whatever. And you basically...
Gint.
What's that?
Gint, maybe. Gint.
Yeah, Gint, yes. You wrote Gint, right?
And yes, SQL.
Yeah, both of them. Okay. Yeah, so use the Gint. And it basically works the same way that normally a SQL index works. You just return how you want it to be indexed. You can also return an array, just like SQL, and it'll index each one as its own row. But so for instance, I'm indexing fields, and I don't know if there is that available yet in Orchard Core where you can query fields. I know there was talk a while ago. I don't know if it's in yet.
Mm-hmm. Yes, there is a feature
Okay.
to project like you are doing all the fields onto a very well-known table with very well-known column types. So it's not as dynamic as what you did, but yes, this is a more generic solution.
Okay, so when I wrote this, that didn't exist. It did in Orchard 1, which it just took a little while to get it into Orchard Core. Yeah, so you can do more than just fields. You can build whatever you want. And this uses the global methods. So if you wanted to query for something inside of this, you could, although not really recommended because your index is going to get messed up eventually. But yeah, so right now I have this built and it's returning that. And if I query, it's going to return this. And then if I added a release date, for instance, date time. And I'll just uncomment this and hit save. And I just rebuild this. And now my index table will include that as well. So that's all I had to demo. Just a quick one.
And that's something we mentioned actually. Well, I did for sure. But I'm not even, maybe Antoine or Dave were there at the meetings where I mentioned something like this. But there are two options, two techniques to design with that, because it's interesting because you use the tables, you use the SQL.
Yes.
But you could also do that for the Lucene. For Lucene, like in Lucene we have an index, right? We create indexes and we index all the fields, and every field has to say, this is how you index me. But you could do the same thing with a Lucene index to provide a JavaScript to project your objects to an object that will be indexed in Lucene field by field. That would also work, and maybe that you might also want to do that if you want to do a search with Lucene, a full text search, but from projecting properties. So that's something I mentioned. And in the case of YesSQL, I'm not sure I've mentioned that, but on the YesSQL repository, I'm sure we'll discuss that in issues or in PRs or with people involved, that what you did was also an option, that instead of describing statically by code the indices you want to create, you could do it dynamically and then create the tables, but that's a much different level of thinking that you did. So that's great. And then what you implemented is RavenDB. I don't know if you know about RavenDB.
I do not.
And so historically it's interesting because the thoughts you had to have to go to this solution. This is something we envisioned also when we started Orchard, even 1, like 15 years ago. When we started Orchard 1, we were looking at databases that we could use. Okay, and the first versions were SQL-C because there was no SQLite. It was SQL-C, and it only worked on Windows, which were fine. So Orchard 1 was full framework. But we had another option, which was to use RavenDB, which was a very new NoSQL database in .NET, made by the creators of NHibernate, which was still an ORM in .NET and in Java. And so RavenDB is a NoSQL database, which is super popular and is the first .NET NoSQL database, like MongoDB, if you want. Okay? But the issue that which made us not be able to use RavenDB with Orchard 1 is that it was not free, and Orchard was free. So we would have had to force people to use, to pay for a license. So that's why we went with SQL-C and SQL Server and others. So we had options with the market. And RavenDB is made in .NET and has the same feature as you, which is you define your documents that you store. So it stores JSON document, okay, like MongoDB. But then you define queries that you name, like you just did, with JavaScript in RavenDB. So an index is defined by a JavaScript script that will return or query, like a link query, but in JavaScript that returns documents. And they process each JSON document. They apply the JavaScript query on it, and they project it to their own store, which at first was Lucene, because they were using Lucene at the store and also for the query engine. But since then, they've re-implemented all their lower level. They don't use Lucene. They have their own kind of Lucene. They have their own storage engine. They have their own everything. But they are doing exactly what you're doing: JavaScript queries and projecting to .NET, to Lucene. To Lucene, you in your case, YesSQL. When I created YesSQL, I wanted to do exactly the same thing as RavenDB, which is a NoSQL database, but free, but using SQL databases. So it can work anywhere for free. I didn't have to implement my own engine. And it was SQL because people can do SQL queries, which is fast. It scales. SQL is very good, but it's still SQL. And for sure, to do the JavaScript interpretation, they use Gint also to do their projection also in RavenDB. So you have a micro RavenDB. And what you just did is something I would have loved to, or maybe I will do one day, to be able to do like everything in SQL, but everything dynamic. So you define your objects and your queries in JavaScript. And well, your objects not in JavaScript, but at least your query in JavaScript. And this way, yes, you can query anything with the fastest perf you want. It's all dynamic, but still it's materialized in SQL. So you have all the benefit of SQL query. So you also reproduce the same index processor as we have for Lucene, which is browsing every content item, executing the JavaScript, and then storing in the index. So like I saw when you did rebuild, it's not our rebuild, it's your rebuild. You made the same thing, right?
Yeah, it's my rebuild.
Okay. but the same logic, like to house every content item one by one and sync. Like, if there is a new one, there is a background task that will reprocess it or process it.
Yeah, it is using handlers, just the normal content handlers, to update new ones,
okay.
which isn't ideal, but for the quick and dirty to get this working, that's what we're using.
I see.
But
so then the handlers will take, during the request, will process every object, which is fine. And then there is a rebuild that can reprocess everything from scratch.
yes. And that's targeted to the specific content types. I think doesn't Lucene loop through all content types regardless of if they are indexed? And then it just picks when one actually is being indexed, it actually uses it, but it's querying for them all, right?
The index processor, I don't, yeah, probably it's, yeah, because what we do is that we have a table with, well, that was in Node one. I don't remember in Node core, but we used to have a table with all the content items. And then we just process this table, yeah, one by one, and say, is this one indexed, in this one indexed? But it's just a referential. We don't load the document. We just say, we have this document, is it a good type? Yes, then load the document and then process it. So it should be optimized. Okay. So you need to look at RavenDB and the way they do queries. I don't think they have, for instance, to define the types. You need to, because you want to create the tables. They don't have to, because we've seen, and they can also discover the types. So ideally, you will not even have to provide the types, right? Just by looking at introspecting the kind of documents that is written, you would be able to find the correct type. But it's easier if you let the user
true.
map the type. Yeah, but at least there is no ambiguity, and they have the type exactly they want, because one type could map to 10 different ones.
Yeah, technically you could do your return early if it wasn't the type you care about. You do it on your script.
Oh, because yeah, the same thing. So you have one. So okay, now you have multiple queries. That's the previous screen. You select which one you want, and then each table color. Yeah, your UI. The UI you showed us last time was perfect. This one is ugly. I can't. It's hard to navigate. Like I'm lost with the table columns, which are not columns. It's a grid of columns. No, that the misconception. Like that would be great to have these table columns to be displayed in a table.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
With columns. It's stupid, but yeah, just to see what you are mapping to. Because your name, string, length. Yeah, you see, you have 3 fields. Like it's like 3 columns in a table. Name, data type, and a checkbox, and then you have a table with all the things you want to project to. So you define your table schema. Then you have the map script. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, that's also very close to what we call no-code platforms like Airtable, their Metabase, so Airtable, Metabase, and some others where you dynamically define, like a content management system, your types and how you want to represent them, and then it will create all the tables and fields and everything inside.
Yeah, I had never seen anything like this before, so we thought it was pretty cool. We use it a lot now, and it's worked for us. So
yeah, I'm sure, yeah, it could be part of. It could be a full-fledged Orchard core feature.
And I didn't know if it would be something that goes in Orchard core, if it's just a separate module that people could use as a NuGet package or something, if they're interested.
Yep. Well, but the issue with Orchard core is that then you have to maintain that, and it's external view can't maintain that. So
I do have to un-Newtonsoft it though. Yeah, we're moving to Orchard core 2.0 right now, so I'm having the fun of getting rid of Newtonsoft there.
Why do you use it there? Why do you need it?
What's
Let
that?
me see, because okay, your result, the JavaScript results is not MutantSub. This is a pure .NET object, well, a JavaScript, a Gint object. So you then to apply the mapping, and then why do you need to do JSON here? I don't understand.
It's when you're passing in the content item into this script evaluator.
I see. You will have all the issues that George has been working on, because here your content item your .casePar.intake_date.value. This is a dynamic value, and then Gint has to understand that it's, for instance, I don't know, string, and then store it as a JavaScript string. So there will be Gint issues, MutantSub issues, but you need to wait for George's fixes, or maybe everything is in there. Oh no, I saw one a PR that George made to support JSON dynamic value and automatic conversions like this. Might be an issue. Well, it's fixed, but it could be a temporary issue. Yeah. No, that's great. That one, let me see. So you create tables. At what point do you create a table?
It gets created on first save, and then if you change it, I think I just drop the table and recreate the table.
Yeah, because SQLite doesn't support adding proper. Oh, yeah, not just SQLite. Like some database, you can't even change the type of a column. So if you change the type here, you can't say update column. You have to recreate everything. And because it's an index, you can say that's fine. We do the same thing with routine, like just drop and reprocess everything to repopulate the index. It's just an append-only index, so that is fine. There is no data loss. I mean, there is no data loss. Users don't edit the value. There is nothing to lose from the user. It's just projection, like a materialized view. So you just recreate the view. So that's fine. So you create it. Yeah, you have to delete it and recreate it. Every change.
Yep.
But it's rare, so that's fine. Well, and also you could say that your add column here can just be deferred. So it's just when you say save, you're like, okay, all the changes to the columns have been made. Let's recreate the whole thing.
Yeah.
So you use SQL Direct also?
I don't really remember what all I'm using, to be honest.
Because it has to work with every database. So the generating.
Yes. I did only make this work with SQL Server because that's all we ever use.
Okay.
So yeah, it would take a little work, but yeah, I think I'm at the Dapper level and I'm just creating the tables or whatever, removing the tables.
Yeah, so you could build an independent tool, do like Zipka did with the workflow, and you create a NoSQL solution. But there are lots of open source solutions like this today, where you would design dynamically your types, where you will design your projections, design your queries, like we have the queries module in Orchard Core, and then expose it as APIs, and then it's like a completely dynamic data manipulation.
That's an idea.
With APIs and GraphQL, but this is what Orchard Core is, so that here we are just missing the JavaScript projection. Yeah, I'm sure Antoine will remember that we mentioned that multiple times, being able, or maybe if not Antoine, at least Jasmine, because we mentioned that, like instead of having these kind of queries, at least for Lucene indexes. I'm sure we have an issue with that to provide a Lucene index with a JavaScript query instead of just indexing all the fields. So you can index whatever computed value you want, not just the field itself. Yeah. Good, that's great. I like it. I'm sure others will. Cool. Thank you. George, you need to fix the given dynamic value for Dave. To migrate to Orchard Core 2.
I tried to.
Thank you.
It's hard and I hate it.
No, you like it, I'm sure. It's an interesting
it's
Challenge.
very interesting, but it's a challenge.
Cool. Are we done? Topics? Questions? Okay, great. On time. Thanks, everyone. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
the demos.
Thanks.
See you on Thursday or next week. Bye-bye.
Bye bye.
Okay.
Good night.
Cheers.